Well, it's December 21st, so it's winter solstice 2024. I thought I'd tell us a raccoon hunting story. Oh, back in probably 1983, something like that. I was probably, 23 or 24 years old. Uh, Me and another fella and a third guy, we went raccoon hunting. But this third guy, he was a little bit older, and he trapped with his dad. And he got to be a pretty good trapper later. A few years on. But he was just learning. But I'd been out with him fishing and stuff. And he would see a certain stump or a rock. Usually down a trail or something, going to the creek or something. Or like I said, or a bush. And he'd actually get down on his hands and knees. And he starts sniffing it. He go, man, there's been a coyote. Coyote's peeing right here. Me and my dad will come back. We'll try to catch this coyote. Or he'd say, oh, there's been a fox. He said, I can smell it on that rock. It's definitely a fox peeing on this. I'll tell my dad about this. So anyway, we all three take off and we go raccoon hunting. And this older fellow, he lived on this lady's land, this lady's farm, and she had a lot of acreage. I don't know, several hundred acres. So, and they had some old logging trails and stuff. So we actually had an old pickup truck. And the dogs treed up this tree. So we all take off. We get down to this tree, and the tree has a hole in the bottom of it. But and the tree's hollow. It's not out on the outside. We looked. So he gets down on his hands and knees. He sniffs in that hole. He says that raccoon's in there. He says, I can smell it. He said, most definitely. You guys stay here. I'm going to run back to the house, get the axe, and I'll come back and we'll chop the tree down. So he was leaving in the truck. So we tied the dogs up so they wouldn't, some follow him and some run off and some stay there, just to keep them all right there in one spot. So here, and I don't know, it took him quite a while, and he comes back and he's got this axe. So we start chopping on the tree. And we all three chopped about 3 times. And then about the time the older fellow was going to take his third or fourth try on it, chopping on it, the old tree standing there, it starts to split. And the top, one part's higher. But anyway, the tree starts splitting like this, opening up, and it splits about 25 feet up. And just before the top breaks out of it, a big old skunk falls out and hits the ground. Then the treetop hits the ground, and all the hounds are going crazy. We're trying to get out of the way, get back away from it, but we can't because our dogs are tied up. So we have to try to untie our dogs. And this whole time, this skunk is squirting. This skunk squirted so much, there was a fog around us, like a little cloud. Because I had a wheat light on my head, and that beam, shining through the air, it was just showing all them particles just floating around in the air. That was just nothing but just pure old skunk scent. But it was it was pretty funny, and the funny part was, and I gave him a hard time about it for a long time, because the older fellow that was, kind of leading the expedition, if you want to call it that, he was the expert, and had the good old dog that treated the skunk in the first place, and he was the one that smelled it inside the tree and confirmed definitely there was a raccoon in that tree. All right, I hope you liked the story, and I'm sure I can think of another one. All right, well, take care.